Wes Welker is considered by many to be the greatest slot receiver of all time. If you played slot receiver, he was definitely one of those guys that you watched growing up. But on his journey to be the best, he was no stranger to adversity. Today we're going to go over the story of Wes Welker. From being an undersized wide receiver that was given the cold shoulder from college and NFL scouts, being the player that never listened to what anybody said about him ruin his dream, to becoming one of, if not the best undrafted players in NFL history. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video, and subscribe if you want to see more of these types of videos. Now let's get into the story. Wes Welker was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and was given no other choice than to toughen up, having an older brother that never let him win at anything. If you have an older brother just like I do, you know the feeling. Even though it sucks during the time, it does toughen you up in the long run. For high school, Wes Welker attended Heritage High School in Oklahoma, and he absolutely did everything for the Chargers from 1996 to 2000 on the football field. He played running back, defensive back, punt returner, and was also the kicker. Off the football field, he showed he had a good sense of humor, dressing up as Britney Spears for a pepper rally. All right, back to football. During his 4 years on varsity, he had 80 touchdowns, 7 punt returns for touchdowns, 22 interceptions, and also had 35 field goals and 165 PATs, with his longest field goal being 58 yards. His junior year in '99, USA Today named him Oklahoma State Player of the Year. But not only did he show his talent on the football field, but early on he also showed that he had the most work ethic out of any other player. His high school head coach sent out his recruitment tape to 105 different colleges and universities, but being 5'7" and 160 pounds, no colleges even looked at him, until that same coach called a friend named Tommy McVeigh, who oversaw recruitment duties for Texas Tech during the time. After that, Texas Tech became Wes Welker's only college offer, and who would have guessed he would become one of the Red Raiders' greatest receivers. When he arrived at Texas Tech, his old quarterback, now the Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury, said he thought Wes Welker was just a frat guy, leading him getting the nickname The Natural until he saw what he could do on the football field. Other than 2 punt returns and a rushing touchdown his freshman year, he didn't become a great wide receiver until his sophomore year. Finished with 259 receptions, 3,069 receiving yards, and 21 touchdowns. He also had 8 punt returns for touchdowns, which was the record at the time. Earned second team All Big 12 honors in 2002 and first team honors the very next year. Welker also won the award that is given to college football's Special Team Player of the Year in 2004, as well as Sports Illustrated's All-Decade Team as a punt return. The next chapter in Wes Welker's life is a testament. No matter what people say, if you have a goal or a dream, you can achieve it if you never give up. NFL scouts didn't even pay attention to Wes when he wasn't even invited to the NFL scouting combine in 2004. Wes Welker sat through 2 draft parties thrown by his family, while he watched 7 receivers drafted in the first round and 24 more taken, making the total to 31 receivers, with Wes Welker never hearing his name. But the then San Diego Chargers eventually signed Wes Welker as an undrafted free agent. But unfortunately, after the first regular season game, former Chargers head coach Marty Schottenheimer released Wes Welker for Clinton Hart. 7 years later, he said that was the biggest mistake he has ever made. Even though he was offered a spot on the practice squad, Welker signed a deal with the Miami Dolphins. During his 3 years with Miami, he was mainly used as a kickoff return man, and still holds the franchise record for kickoff return yards with 3,756. And also, while he was with the Dolphins, he became only the 2nd player ever to return a kickoff and punt return, make a field goal and extra point, and also record a tackle all in one single game. In March 2007, he would find his perfect fit being traded to the Patriots for 2 draft picks. This is where his NFL career finally took off. Not only did he have a coach that loved the type of player that Wes was and become one of Tom Brady's favorite targets, but he also made his first Super Bowl appearance 9 years after college football recruiters ignored him, and 4 years since the Chargers released him. But unfortunately, it did not go as planned. Eli Manning and the Giants ruined the Patriots' undefeated season. Despite the heartbreaking loss, Welker played his guts out, having 11 receptions and 109 yards, after tearing his MCL and ACL in the last regular season game of the 2009 season. Wes Welker once again had to defy the odds. An injury like that normally takes athletes a year to recover from, but with Wes Welker's heart and his work ethic, he came back just 5 months later. Wes Welker bounced back in 2011 and had his best season of his entire career. He had 122 receptions, 1,569 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. That same year, he also tied the record for the longest play from scrimmage with a 99-yard touchdown reception against his old team, the Dolphins. Despite falling short at another chance for a Super Bowl ring, Wes Welker played like a Hall of Fame wide receiver for the New England Patriots from 2007 to 2012. He had at least 1,165 receiving yards in 5 of his 6 seasons with New England, led the league in receptions receptions in 2007, 2009, and 2011. Earned 5 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, and 2 second-team All-Pros. When Wes Welker became an unrestricted free agent in 2012, joined forces with legendary quarterback Peyton Manning with the Broncos. In his 2 seasons in Mile High City, he had 1,242 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns. 2015, he played in his last season with the then St. Louis Rams. In his 12-year career, Wes Welker finished with 9,924 receiving yards, 903 receptions, and 50 touchdowns. He also holds 14 NFL records. Had a tough time making the transition into retirement. Fortunately, the Houston Texans came to Welker's rescue as they hired Wes as their offense and special teams assistant coach January 2017. 2 years later, Welker was hired by the 49ers to be their wide receiver coach. It is the big reason why Deebo Samuel became one of the best wide receivers in the league in 2021. On February 18th, 2022, Wes Welker's life would go full circle when he was hired to be an assistant coach for the Miami Dolphins. At the end of the day, after all the work he put in, being told that he was too small, getting the cold shoulder from college and NFL scouts, Wes Welker never made any excuses and never quit. On his way to become, in my opinion, the best true slot receiver to ever do it, and one of the greatest undrafted players of all time. One of these days, we will be hearing his name inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. I'm Hudgens Huddle. I will see you next time. Be safe and rise above.